So we can show everybody all the neat things we're doing.
Right.
I think we are live.
Here we go. Hello and welcome to the MCEC Fam Show. I am Chauncey Williams, the coordinator of student success here at MCEC, which stands for Muskegon Community Education Center, the place where the center of your child's education is magnified in a collaborating community. Our focus here at MCEC is community involvement, careers, social emotional learning, and nutrition. What's up, PK? What or who do we have on the agenda today, fam?
Well, once again, you know, over here at MCEC, we have access to all the blessings within Muskegon Public Schools. We have two longtime educators here with us today, Dana Judd, with whom I worked at MMS for a few years, but she's been in the district much longer than that. And Coach Laudermill, with whom I worked back when I was assistant principal at Muskegon High School, who's also been in the district for a bunch of years. Basically, if you call yourself a Big Red and you're under the age of 30 and you don't know who Coach Lott is or Coach Judd, you probably really weren't a Big Red at all. So, if you will, Coach Judd, just if you want to do a quick introduction, and then we'll move on to Coach Lott, and then we'll ask you guys some questions.
Sure. I'm Dana Judd. I am currently the PE teacher at Muskegon Middle School. I have been in the district for about 20 years, but I am a Big Red. Graduated from Muskegon High School, and proud to say it. So just a little bit about me.
So I'm Coach Lott, Mr. Laudermill, assistant principal at Muskegon High School now. Most people know me as Coach Lott. I coached basketball for the Big Reds for some years, following up from Coach Dern. Been in the district for about 21 years. Graduate of Muskegon Heights High School, but I've been downtown with the Big Red families for since '98.
All right. So what kind of questions you got for them today, Chauncey? We'll save the zingers right till the end, huh?
Okay. We're here at MCEC. We focus on career readiness, and we have a book. It's called "What Color is Your Parachute for Teens? Discover Yourself, Design Your Future, and Plan for Your Dream Job." So it's a section in the book that asks a question, and the question is to you: how did you get into your job, and what kind of training or education did you get? So it's a two-part question. How did you get in your job, and what kind of training or education did you get? Who wants to go first?
I can go ahead and go first if you don't mind, Lott.
Oh, go ahead, Dana. You good? Ladies first.
All right. Well, I got into education, first of all, because at a pretty young age, I've been an athlete most of my life. And at a young age, I got into coaching and caught the bug, caught the itch a little bit with coaching, and knew that I wanted to work with kids. And it stuck with me. It was very important to me. I wasn't quite sure. I wanted to coach kids, but I wanted to be around sports too. And so I wanted to teach kids, but I wanted to be around sports too. So my avenue first was I wanted to get into athletic training. I thought, okay, I can be around sports. I can still be with kids. And then the longer I coached and I got my first varsity volleyball position, I was actually 19 years old coaching varsity at Ravenna High School. And the principal there kept saying, man, you really should get into education. You should really, really think about it. And, so then I got into the early education program at Grand Valley, and then decided, no, why would I do early education when I want to coach high school kids? Or middle school kids. So then I changed again. So I would say for me, it actually took me 6 years to get through college because I did a lot of changing. And worked hard to get, where I'm at. And then I did my teacher assisting at Reese Puffer Middle School. Loved it. And then did my student teaching with, at Muskegon High School. I'm sorry, with Coach Neese. And then, the rest is history. I was able to they wanted a female in the position up there. There were no female PE teachers. And so that's kind of how I got my start, but coached for many years, still love everything about coaching, teaching, and teaching is is coaching. Coaching is teaching. They go hand in hand. So kudos to anybody that tries both of them or is in both of them, because you are a true teacher.
Yes, yes, they are. All right, so that sounds good. So you started early. Volleyball was your thing as an athlete?
Yeah.
Sports?
Yep, volleyball was my thing. Volleyball still is my thing, but I'm a little older and a little a little heavier, and I know what happens sometimes, but I love it. In fact, right now that's one of the units that we're on in class, and after I got done with class, I was like all hyped up one day, and I was like, "What's my?" And I thought, "Man, gosh, you really miss it. Like you love it. Like." I was all excited about everything, and the kids are like, "Okay, it's just volleyball. It's all good, you know, just chill out." But yeah, so it was a great experience. It's how I got started. You know, I had great mentors. John Workman was one of them. Amazing man. You know, loved my humanities class. PK can probably attest to that. So good stuff. But yeah, I had great people. I had great mentors. And I always used to say this to my high schoolers when I taught at the high school. You know, when people are trying to help you, I know sometimes it's hard because you want to kind of do it on your own. I don't need help. I don't need this. But take the help, because we genuinely care. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you, you know, just be the very best you can be. And so with that being said, you know, you don't want to burn bridges. And I don't mean, you know, sometimes kids do that and no fault of their own. They kind of do that just, you know, innately. And I think that's one of the things that kind of helped me is I was able to develop good relationships with people. And, you know, Arlen Zach hired me. You know, he was my principal when I was a senior in high school. And so he knew me, he knew my character, he knew, you know, what I was about. So I think that helped a little bit. And I would say, you know, anybody out there, please, if the relationship is there, just kind of build that relationship and make sure that, you know, you kind of nurture it.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna do I'm gonna ask you the question again to make sure you can frame it.
Got you.
It says, how did you get into what you're doing and the education path you chose? And how does it look? Now, I know a little bit about your background. I used to try to tag along with you guys back in the day. You and
Right.
you and Kenny Red and the whole crew. You guys always open the gym up for us and keep us off out of the streets. So, but I didn't know the before Bernard. So tell us how you got to this space and, you know, and why you chose what you're doing.
My path was different. When I left Muskegon Heights, I went to Siena Heights University and played basketball there for 4 years. And after I graduated from Siena Heights, I ended up working in a residential treatment facility for juvenile delinquents. Did that for a few years. My received a bachelor in social work, so that took me right into the residential field. After that, I ended up working in Washington County Juvenile Court. So I always tell people I did like a backwards progression of working with youth in regards to seeing them from when they were actually locked up in residential to working at juvenile court in Washington County, as far as when they're just getting in trouble. And then coming to Muskegon in '98, working at Steele Middle School back in the day. So it's like you go from all three phases of seeing kids develop, so to speak. So my first year still, I worked as a shooting specialist and ended up coaching girls basketball. Back then it was, you know, girls basketball was totally different from how it is now in regards to all of the resources our young ladies have today, obviously, but it was definitely a great experience of working with all the young ladies I worked with back at Steele Middle School. And I then came to the high school in, I think, 03, 04, where I became the varsity basketball coach, taking over a solid program that Mr. Duran had operated for years, and just got into that whole field of coaching at that time, and was given an opportunity at that time by Steve Hoffman. And I think Arlen Zach was also the building principal at that time when I first came to the high school. So I've been at the high school since 04 and have coached basketball for 19 years. And now I'm the assistant principal at the high school. So we've done a lot of great programs. You know, Chauncey, you and I, and Coach Walker did the C3 thing for the county of Muskegon, where we worked with the juveniles there in the program in the summertime, which was great. So right now I'm just really trying to understand everything about being a great assistant principal and doing a lot of things to trainings and things of that nature to put me in position to continue on this path of doing some great things in Muskegon. As far as our students, you know, it's just a thing that we're all dealing with as far as being at home, and in the midst of this pandemic, we basically just need to be safe, stay safe, follow all the protocols of the orders by the governor and things like that. But just reach out to your friends, you know, phone calls, communicate with your teachers as much as you possibly can. Communicate with your building staff as far as your administration and your support staff. We have a lot of great ones in the building, with Coach White being one of them, Coach Dockery, Coach Parrish, at the high school working, you know, side by side. My man, Mr. Ricks, who does a great job working with the youth as well. Just really, the resources are there. And as far as for parents, you know, it's just taking care of your kids, you know, being there, listening to them first and foremost, and just providing feedback and just giving them as much support as you possibly can. When we're talking about doing this, this whole thing is really new to everyone as far as remote learning and Zoom meetings for the educational piece. But it's going to be something that we have to deal with, and we can definitely have the resiliency to get through this and work together. And at the end of the day, we're just going to become a stronger family. And across the board, as far as the Big Red Nations, the Tiger Nation, all of that, you know, I got to give my people Tiger a shout out. Everyone together, but it's going to take a collective effort from everyone to really get through this and just be in compliance into what everyone is asking, and just do some reasonable expectations as far as academics, like setting your alarm clock, getting up in a timely manner, getting a little bite to eat. You know, Chartwell does a great job of supplying food for the our families. I just talked to Idris. I mean, since the COVID happened, I mean, I think he's well over 800,000 meals, I believe. I don't want to misquote him, but I know the number is extremely high, which does says a great job that Chartwell has done. And I know our staff has chimed in, did some things.
Hey, Coach, you are an administrator. You done went into other questions on us, and that's great. I mean, you're like you got an agenda in front of you by the screen or something, like you got our agenda. So I'm gonna cut it to you because I was the career questions, and I got one more question for you. Now, you a business owner. I see there's 2 locations with your name on it, right?
Right.
Correct. So, and finish my questions here. How did you end up in that? Like, you got these 2 businesses in the Heights and on the Lakeshore. I mean, that's prominent in this community.
I mean, you know, definitely it's just following the lead of my sister. You know, she's a family entrepreneur, Miss Phyllis Laudermill, and she got me into this deal with kind of helping out with Lot on the Lakeshore, which is ran by Angie Turner, and Lot and Big Wheezy, ran by my man Wheezy, does a great job of operating both those facilities, has really great food. So definitely get out there and support the small businesses of Muskegon. Anytime they do a great job with their menus and things like that. So, but at the end of the day, Chauncey, is really through my sister Phyllis, who has a path of doing some great things in Muskegon. You know, also has the a lot on the landings, the hotel down but right across from Mona Lake as well. So trying to do some big things, you know, trying to set myself up for retirement. You know, I got a few more years working in Muskegon Public Schools. You know, I'm going to look to enjoy those years, but you know, you stop my roll at first, man. You know, I'm not a Facebook person, see, so
I
you
know,
just
I know
go
how to-
along, man. Let's see.
I get
Come
you.
on, man.
That's all right, though. I appreciate it. I just want to make sure that people got the full scope of like Mrs. Judd and then yourself, because a lot of times our kids just see you in the building. Oh, he just Bernard, he just assistant principal, or she just in the gym. No, these people are in a space by choice to be with you. They could be doing other things, but they love what they do. So I just want to just expound on those ideas. That's why I asked those questions, because they need to know that we're real people, but we got choices, but we like to be in the big red nation. So I'm glad you expounded on those ideas too, Coach. And
Appreciate it.
Also. So thank you.
So I'm in
Oh,
this
no doubt.
I'm in this class with the MDE every Thursday, and Dr. Rima was talking today about the importance of relationships. First and foremost, in anything and everything we do, that most of what we've obtained, most of what we've done, most of where we're going is the result of relationships. And usually we can boil those relationships down to a couple of people. Now, a few minutes ago, Dana, you mentioned John Workman, a teacher I had, a teacher hundreds, if not thousands of burgeoning Big Reds had, knowing, and probably all of them would say, if asked about a teacher, John Workman's name would come up. If you were to look back now that you're 28 and still teaching, what were the characteristics of John Workman that had an impact so great that here now in 2020 you're bringing up his name?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the things that I guess stuck out and why I felt so connected to him is he's genuine. He was real, and you felt like he had your back and you didn't want to disappoint him. And he could just have that conversation with you. You know, he would write, I remember as a volleyball player, we were, believe it or not at the time, we were ranked number 6 in the state. And it was a big deal for Muskegon High School. And he used to write us individual notes and send them to our classes. It was the little things, you know, you knew that he really genuinely cared about you. And he didn't really necessarily do anything spectacular or grandiose or anything like that. It was just, you knew he was there. You knew he was there if you needed to talk. You knew he really cared about your success. And he knew how to build the idea of team. And he just, even in the classroom, he could do the same thing. And so I think those are really important characteristics, especially for educators, to make sure that just be real, you know, be real with the kids. Don't, you know, you can't just force the content all the time. You know, it's like, you know, be real with it, bring your experiences to life and let them know, you know, why you do what you do and why it's important that why you're teaching what you teach. And just bring it so that it's relevant for them, and that they genuinely know that you care about them. You know, and I know that everybody's big on, you know, well, especially right now, no hugs and all that stuff. But back before, you know, it was nothing to give a side hug, you know, to a kid, or a high five, or a, you know, fist bump or whatever. And those are the important parts, I think, of teaching and education. So John was that for me.
So keeping it real was the big one, and he cared for real, and you knew it because of the small things, not because he took the team to Six Flags or bought you guys plushies. It was the things that he did, the small things. Excellent. Coach Lott, if you're to look back over your long career, well, who's that person that sticks out as being a person who had a deep effect or had an impact on your life?
I think growing up, it would be my big brother, who I got from Big Brothers and Big Sisters when I was probably like 12 years old. Ivory Morris at the time, he was the chief of the fire department, first black African-American male to be the fire chief of Muskegon Heights. was a big, huge influence on me. Obviously, my older brothers and sisters, but someone outside the home and growing up in a single parent household with a very strong willed mom would be Ivory in regards to just exposing me to a lot of different things outside of Muskegon County. I can recall going to church conventions with Christ Temple when we go to Memphis, Tennessee every year for church conventions. I would go along with the family and things like that, but just really supportive of my basketball career and things like that. He was a caring person, a good listener, and a really good role model for myself and other young men in Muskegon County. So I think definitely I would say Ivory Morris, as well as Coach Gilbert. I mean, who was huge for a lot of us growing up in Muskegon Heights and playing basketball up under his guidance and having the ability to be, coach, having the opportunity to be coached by him. And I would, even though I was a coach, I would call him and get some things from him as far as what we can do and techniques and fundamentals and things like that. What we could do, just some helpful advice. So those two guys were really influential for me because growing up as a kid in Muskegon Heights, you want to always be a Tiger and play basketball. So Coach Gilbert was like legendary. So everyone wanted to, just be able to, like Dana say, fist bump, shake his hand, and just say what's up to him or be in his presence, But I think those two young men were, those two gentlemen were definitely influential as far as me.
Fantastic. Again, because they cared, because they're there, because they're consistent. Something Gemini the poet brought up, that it's so important for today for adults to be consistent with kids, because if we're consistent with kids, then they know to a degree they can begin to count on us. So I have one last question, if other folks have questions, I'll shut up. But I do have one last question. You guys have any other questions you'd like to ask our guests? Okay, well then I'll just, I can't, you have to excuse me, Coach Lott and Coach Judd. I can't help myself because I'm nosy and I just got to find out about folks. Now, because here's the thing, we hear lots of things in the news about kids these days, about this, that, the other thing, but I've known both of you for a big chunk of my life. And not only do you show up every day and do right by kids, not only do you answer my text messages about educational and other situations off clock, I'll drop, a lot of text at 11 o'clock saying, hey, but you guys still show up every day as Big Reds. And you not only show up as Big Reds, you not only work and get the check, but you sort of exemplify the brand. I mean, Coach Lott is wearing the Big Red shirt. You mentioned you're a Big Red, Dana. So what keeps you got the sweatshirt on too? So what keeps you coming back to step up to be a Big Red every day? What keeps you going?
Do you want me to go first, Lott? Or you want to go?
I mean, you've been doing such a great job of doing the lead, so I'm okay with following you, Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Lott's going to need an additional 35-minute extension after you're done.
Go ahead, Coach.
Oh, I'll go ahead. Okay, I'm sorry, PK. Can you, what brings me back? What keeps me going as a Big Red? Okay, right?
Yeah, each day you show up as a Big Red. What do you do to keep doing what you do?
Well, I'll tell you, especially with all this change, it's super easy to feel like you're getting a little burnout and a little, just, kind of frustrated. But, and I know this is cliche to say, but every day is different, and every day there is something that even if I come to class and I'm kind of like in a funk or whatever, there is always that one kid. It may be many, but there's always one that always seems to just, I don't know, like brighten your day. And I tell you, they surprise you, because the ones that sometimes you feel like, okay, they're not getting it. I'm getting frustrated with this. They're probably frustrated. They're probably like, oh my gosh, just you stop talking or what? But, and then all of a sudden they will say something and you're like, oh my gosh, hi, like this, it's awesome. And then they'll say something that totally, I had a kid the other day, a little 6th grader. Now, mind you, these 6th graders, they don't know me in person. I mean, they've never met me. you know, they just see, you know, what they see. And I had this boy say to me, your hair looks really nice. And I was like, well, thank you. And I mean, just things like that, you know, and then he just wanted to have this full on conversation. It was like, I needed that. I mean, he must have needed it, but I felt like I needed it more and more. So it's really the kids. And again, I don't want to be cliche, but our kids are so special. And I mean, special in the way that they're unique in their ways. They're amazing. They're just, I don't know how to say it. They bring a smile to my face. I laugh every single day on Zoom. I mean, every day, to the point where, you know, how you get that smile all the time and it like you start, like your cheeks hurt and your head starts to hurt and all that stuff, like every day. And so as much as I love being in person and I love the whole, you know, interaction in person, this is actually, it's working out pretty good. And I love the laughing. I love just the kids. I love the kids. So.
And that big old dog too.
Dogs.
Thank you, Dave. What about you, Coach Lott? What keeps you showing up every day to be a Big Red?
PK, man, I definitely know it's the kids, it's our students. You know, every day is something different. You know, they're so unique in their own way. But relationships, you know, just being a part of a rich tradition and being able to work with such a great staff and meet so many different students as they come in and out of the doors of Muskegon High School pre-COVID. Hopefully looking forward to getting our students back in the building really soon. But it's definitely relationships and just those lifetime bonds that you happen to have when your students leave Muskegon High School. Mm-hmm. And one of the things we're doing now on our team is reaching out, trying to build relationships with, Dana said it, with students that don't even know us. So we are making phone calls daily to a set group of students in the 9th grade, and Coach White is touching base with our seniors, but we're making daily phone calls or sending emails and things like that, just to foster their relationships. So when they do come into the building, you know, they're gonna have someone they can identify with and connect with immediately. But I think the biggest part is just those relationships, building those relationships and working with the staff at Muskegon High School. And definitely looking forward to getting the students back in the building. And one thing we're going to be looking to do before Christmas is send out like some postcards to our students, just to give them some positive things and keep their heads up and keep pushing and, you know, having that perseverance and being that resilient person that they can be to be successful. So I'm going to stop right there because I think Chauncey got that look like, man, a lot going into some other things. So I'm gonna stop right there. But it's definitely relationships and those lifetime bonds that we have with our students when they leave Muskegon High School and things like that. So
no, I ain't doing it. I wasn't doing you like that. I was just looking at it like I just had to make sure we had the whole show. Because what you was doing was you did a great job of breaking everything down, but you started answering social emotional learning questions and career questions. I was like, wow, he doing the whole, he thinks like that. So it was actually a compliment. You know, I was just trying to make sure that everybody get their questions in before you do the whole. You know, you're the coach now. You're the coach, Bernard, and you know how to run the facility. When you in charge, we got 1,000 students here, and I used to always think that we had how many principals? How many principals have you served under Coach Latimer?
Wow, that's one of those trivia questions. We were just talking about this other day. I think right, Brent. I mean, since like 04, 17 years ago. I think it's been about 7 principals, Chauncey.
So then just think about that. Over those 20 years, you've been a consistent figure where the community sees you. When the principal come in, he or she has to learn from you, and you have to open the door to the community through your voice. You're like, oh, he's good. She's a good principal. You're going to build this relationship. You've been doing that for 7 people.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I've been blessed, you know, and fortunate to, I have not been removed from Muskegon High School since I came there. And you know, there's been some great dean of students, student specialists and things like that in the district that have been moved to different buildings and things like that. So I just, I'm glad I've been able to stay in the same spot for so long. So I hope that's a,
Yeah, that is.
compliment to who I am and a lot of the great things we're all trying to do collectively together to make this a better place, across the board.
Yep. So that just says a lot about your character. That's why I'm expounding on why I came at you earlier, because I look at it as, if you got Bernard in place, oh, everything gonna be all right. And who said that? That's Wayne Robinson, right? Everything gonna be all right.
Everything all right. Don't worry about nothing. My boy Wayne.
That's you.
Oh,
You got Bernard. Oh,
Right.
we got the principal in. Behavior's gonna be in charge. Things gonna run right. Don't worry about nothing. So that's how I would end it on you right there.
well,
My man. We can roll with that.
And we're nominally connected to a public school system, but I think we're having church up in here today. And I'm just going to say this, Dana Judd, it's the same kind of character. I mean, when you have a gym full of kids, especially middle schoolers, a lot of things can happen, but we always knew if Dana Judd's in there, and of course, Coach Bowles to a degree, if Coach Judd's in there, we know it's going to be straight. And that, I think both of you have been blessings to this district, to administration, to teachers, to students, because you two represent constellations of care and constellations of love and constellations of consistency. And that means kids connect to you. And ultimately, if school is not a place where kids feel like they matter, then then it is not a school. It's something else. So we appreciate you guys more than you know. We would send you a postcard, but the Brent White Foundation is supposed to get us Scribs gift certificates and it hasn't come through yet. But any parting questions for our guests, or should we let them go so we can let them get back to their day?
These guys are both downplaying they're both wonderful educators, but they're downplaying how good of athletes these two guys were. Dana's got an extra kinship in the Muskegon High School stake. If you've ever been to the gymnasium, what's your relationship to that?
Harry Potter is my great grandfather. And so, yes, and the gym is named partially after him. But yeah, we have a long line of long history of Big Reds in my family for sure. So yes, Harry Potter. I always say that to the kids and they're like, no, they're thinking of, Harry Potter the wizard. But anyway, so yeah.
I thought that was cool. And never play pool with Bernard Laudermill. He is a pool shark. Never.
So
unless he's on your team.
We've asked you guys a lot of questions. Are there any things you'd like to share that we didn't ask that you think folks should know?
I think you guys did a great job of, of the questions you asked and things like that. Ask you guys a question. What are some I know you guys are doing a lot of great things at MCEC right now, but what's the biggest thing you guys have on tap right now as far as what you're doing with the students at MCEC in the midst of this virtual learning thing?
Hey, Chauncey,
What?
I think you're gonna have to speak a little bit on what's happening in your room right now.
Oh, we just we about to open up a studio. We got the podcast mics, got like sound scan in the back, got the mixer board. We're about to so I'll give you one project. So GVSU is working with our students where we're going to launch a podcast for MCEC with all our mentorship programs. Tomorrow we kick off the Diatribe, taking over our English language arts class every Friday for 9 weeks. They're gonna work on spoken word, curating stories, and building that capacity. So that's one of the things that we get ready to do. We're ready to being able to help the kids truly express themselves, self-awareness, pour into them, and let them know that the stories and the things that happen to them in the community need to be told. And they have a platform here where we're going to use Grand Valley, where we're going to launch it through a podcast and advertise our kids in the best positive way we can, where it can go from just getting the A to say, Mom, go to this website, listen to this project I put down. So look at these bars I laid for my school.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So when we get back all together, let's get together and do a one-stop shop thing, see, and bring a barbershop into the high school so we can make sure our kids are cut up and looking fresh and things like that, man. Let's do this thing big. We're going to do it.
That's right.
Amen, amen.
I just gave you one now. I just gave you one. That's one nugget.
All right.
We don't have time to go through them all.
I know, but I just want to throw one out too. So, you know, it's going to be all good. We're going to also include Muskegon Middle School, but I can't help but say still middle school, Dana, to make sure everybody's all inclusive and things like this on this journey.
So do you have any parting words, Coach Judd, that you'd like to share? Something we missed? A famous quote?
No famous quotes. That's not for me. I do want to, can I just give a little plug, just a quick little plug? Sorry. I don't know if all of you were familiar with the program we did through the Rotary Club with Embark, the bike riding. I don't know if with the high school, if everybody was able to see that, but it was a huge success. And then, you know, having to cancel the afternoon tutoring, in-person tutoring kind of put the kibosh on that. So anyway, amazing. Awesome. We have great people from the Rotary Club that are, I mean, just amazing. So if they happen to be watching, we thank you very much. The kids loved it. You should have heard them. We'd be riding down the street and, you know, we do the whole six feet from the car, you know, making sure, and all the kids are yelling, Corona car, you know, so, I mean, like, it was awesome. The kids were amazing, and it was a great way to get exercise, and they, you know, felt comfortable in their community. And so anyway, I just want to give the whole Embark program that we are doing. We're going to be doing it in the spring as well. So just a little shout out for that.
I'm a Rotary member. I've heard of those projects going on. So it's actually a meeting going on right now. I'm in that one and I'm in this one. So
Yep.
tell nobody.
Yep. Awesome. So.
All right. Thanks a lot, MCEC fam.
Appreciate you, Coach. Appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you. You guys, great seeing you.
Thank you very much for coming on. Bye-bye.
All right, you guys
Absolutely.
take care.
Thanks. Thanks, man.
Bye.
You know, at the end of the day, we're awfully lucky to have such great people we get to pull on our show, because it gets more interesting and more fun as we go. I mean, I don't know if I can put you guys out. You might have to just leave the meeting yourself.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. Bye.
Take care.
Thanks again.
But our next segment, because I know that Coach White and I have had a few conversations before the show began. We're gonna, if you guys are okay, we're gonna move the gastronomical portion to right now. So, Coach White, do you, brother, do you?
All right. So, you know, during this, we're in the second pause type thing, and it's really important that you get out and you support local businesses, and that you support, you know, the businesses that we all enjoy going to, the small restaurants that depend heavily on us shopping there and us buying their stuff. And there's one in particular today that I'd like to highlight, and that's Hamburger Mikey. Hamburger Mikey, they've been really good to us. Aside from their food being absolutely dynamite, okay? They've been really good to us. So what we have going on right now is that each of the teachers are going to pick a student that has improved throughout the week, and they're going to get some Hamburger Mikey. That's one thing that we're doing to try to, you know, excite and get the engagement up and do some of those things. Aside from that, they've always been a good sponsor of ours too. I know that they do Burgers for Big Reds twice a year. They bring the entire team in, obviously not now, but during the normal world, we would go there as a team, and they'd feed us and they've just been great. And so I wanted to take a second and highlight them. Now I'm going to join here on a second device.
All right.
I've got something special for you.
Oh, look at that picture, Brent. That's nice.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to turn this off and bring you with me. We're going to go on a ride.
My stomach is already gurgling. I'm just not going to even lie. You must. Oh, here we go. Uh-oh.
Wait a minute. I went to Hamburger Mikey, and we're going to look into the deliciousness known as. First of all, I was in and out in 10 minutes. By the way, welcome to the Flavor Station. This is where all the flavorful creations come from. And all of the things that you see on Facebook, a lot of them get done right here. So here we go. So first we're going to open this up. It's really cool because you walk in, you order, you go back to your car, all right, and they bring it out to you. And so what I got, and I haven't opened this yet, so it's had time to marinate. What I got was the double with bacon.
Oh.
Yeah, I went all out.
Oh.
Double with bacon, okay, all the fixings, lettuce, tomato, pickle, onion, mayo, I got that for Chauncey, and ketchup and mustard. And let's crack this bad boy open.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Ooh, Lord.
Look at that.
Layer.
Are you kidding me? All you
Layer.
got to do is improve in class this week. You get one of these gems.
Ooh.
Unbelievable. I'm going to bring it back over to the meeting station. I'll see you in a second.
Ooh. Hey, Chauncey, I'm regretting that I became 75% vegetarian right now.
Man, I have to work out so much to have. I'm gonna have to work to that.
I'm gonna have to go out running with you in the morning so I can have one of those.
Man, that's a delicious. I like my burgers cut in half like that so I can see the layers.
And we're back. It doesn't stop there. We're going to try this thing.
Okay.
Here we go.
I told you supposed to brought everybody samples.
Come on, man.
That good.
Come on. It ain't bad. I'm telling you. It ain't bad. They've been really good to us. Get out and support these guys. Hamburger Mikey, you know, you get to build your own thing. I can't even speak. I'm in a burger coma right now. You get, you know, toppings, you get fries. I got some fries too, because you can't leave without the fries. They hand cut them every day fresh. And then you get like this Hamburger Mikey dipping sauce that I'm telling you, it's okay. And so get out and support these dudes. They support us, they support the school, and they're local and they're good guys. So they're not the only ones. And so I'm in a next couple weeks, okay, particularly during this time, you know, I'd like to highlight a few of those local businesses that are the lifeblood of our community. So Hamburger Mikey, hats off to you. You get 2 big reds thumbs up, that's for sure.
Well, and I just want to pick up on some of that you laid down, which is there are going to be 4 students next week who are going to receive a Hamburger Mikey's cheeseburger based upon the suggestion of one of their teachers. So not only is the deliciousness happening now, but the deliciousness is also paying forward because 4 lucky people on Tuesday are going to receive a Hamburger Mikey cheeseburger. So, you know, kids, now's as good a time as any. Forget about Santa. Forget about him looking at the list and checking it twice. You get that Hamburger Mikey burger, it's twice as nice, right?
Oh, I can't even concentrate anymore. I'm emotionally checked out for the rest of the show. I apologize.
All right. Well, as Brent's trying to recoup the force, Tom, what kind of social emotional learning tips do you have for us this week?
So we've had some interesting conversations here in the building. So, you know, it's challenging being home and working from home and balancing those things, but then the chance to come together, and even those times when we're not together in the building and we get to meet like this and share ideas, and, you know, we might, I don't know, some crazy stuff happens with the 4 of us sitting on a Zoom. So I've been thinking about how recharging these meetings are, and the chance to share and not necessarily be focused on math, science, social studies. Well, when did I leave out science? No, English. Anyway, those 4 core subjects, not the chance to do stuff together that's not based on that school stuff, but it's still school stuff. And it's really hard to do that with students being virtual. So, you know, we've been dropping in the Zooms in the mornings this week and kind of trying to bring a little bit of that and interacting with students. And I think they're sitting there looking at their computers and don't know what to expect. And because it's been a while since we've done it. So I've been thinking about taking care of ourselves and finding things to do that aren't necessarily the things we have to do, but are the things that make us happy and things that bring us joy and the things that are enjoyable, and that we can still connect those with school. We can still be on a Zoom and we can give each other a hard time. And Victoria can join Zoom in the morning and say whatever she wants to say. And, you know, she's on a Zoom right now with Sugan in the background, trying to work on her Inventum class. And, you know, that first minute back and forth is always just humorous and enjoyable. And the more we can bring that to what we're doing and not just fall into this business robot school system, I think the better we'll be and the better we'll feel. So a couple things, you know, look for ways to do things that make you happy. And also don't forget that school is fun and school is enjoyable, and that all the adults that are here sitting on the other side of that Zoom call, and you see us every morning on your Zoom, we miss you and we want to have that fun back and forth with you. So, you know, turn your camera on, give us a hard time. We'll give you a hard time, all in good fun and all building that sense of community and that consistency, and that we're all in this together and we're going to make the best of it.
Excellent. And you know how I begin every social media sentence? I'm just going to say this. Well, I'm just going to say this. I just want to say that I'm thankful. I'm thankful this week, especially because I was reminded of the importance of my homies, especially my homies who've had experiences different than mine, because I can reach out to them to find out what's what. I recently saw a post of a young lady who's graduating from college, who also happened to be a Delta. And she had, gone through the steps to become a soror, and she happened to be Caucasian. And I saw a whole bunch of comments and different things said about that. And I've never, obviously, I am who I am. I've been this way for 46 years. So I called up my homie AJ, Angela Johnson. Yep, Angela, I'm calling you out yet again. Every show I call you out for something. So I called Angela. I said, Angela, I believe you're a Delta. And she said, and then she looked at me, and you know what she said after that. And I talked to her about what that post meant on social media. So what I was reminded of is it's a blessing to have people in my life where I can go and find out not just the little T truth, but the big T truth from people who have experiences different than mine. So I'm thankful for Angela Johnson, as well as my other homies like Marie and Irma, who are on the other show, and you guys, because I know at any time, day or night, and this happens sometimes, we can phone call or text, and we can connect as humans, and it just makes my life that much way more richer than it would be just with me and my, the weird things that happen inside my brain. So Chauncey, you want to wrap us up and to send us on home?
I think you're muted, Chauncey.
You're muted, Chauncey.
I worry about my instrumental, because we always finish about buying the block back. So how we end, because we want our community to own property, have careers, build towards the right thing. So we're gonna sign off. Well, that's the end of our live hour. Thanks for tuning in to the MCEC Fam Show, the center of your child's education, where it's magnified in the collaborating community.
Amen. All right, y'all. See you next Thursday.
See ya.